This is the third boss from the easier 5-man hard mode. There's quite a bit to go over in this. The fight is pretty different, so buckle up. Straight away, you'll notice both canisters are here. The boss starts off blue colored. You can check his color by looking at the canisters on his back. One goblin tank has already appeared. At 90% when he's finished attacking, he will gain a color aura and begin changing colors. In hard mode, this mechanic functions almost oppositely of normal mode. This attack here, he will twirl his mace, hit the tank once, and then slam it down, hitting everyone behind him as well. The second hit slam down will ruin DPS and healers' lives. It's really important that you see this coming. It hits very hard. 1, 2. You can see the boss is gaining a blue aura, and everyone's gaining much bigger circles compared to normal mode. The goblin tank is also spawning a circle. In hard mode, it was imperative that the goblins avoid the puddles. In hard mode, this is the opposite. If the goblin steps outside the puddle, it will self-destruct. So what you have to do is look at the boss's aura and build a bridge of AIDS puddles for the goblin to walk on, so he can go to the canister and then disappear. Here they did it perfectly. The goblin tank spawning a puddle itself gives you a lot more leeway. An easy way to assign this, although they don't do it here, is to assign certain roles. So for instance, I would say tank, get near the goblin tank. The healer, go beside the tank here. And then the DPS, fill in the rest. It adds a bit of organization to an otherwise hectic mechanic. These puddles here do no damage to the players, and they're simply there for the goblin to take a stroll on. This fight was recently nerfed, and the boss would transition based on health. Since he was nerfed, it'll mostly only spawn a goblin and when the next goblin is done. This is a new mechanic on hard mode. He'll put a circle on everyone, with the safe zone being at the middle of the donut. Do what this group did and just group behind the boss. After which it'll follow up with a smaller circle. Once it fills up, it will go transparent. That is when you iframe. Right there is when you iframe. There he targeted someone, twirled his mace, and slammed it down. This is exactly the same as normal mode. When he begins swinging his fist at you, dodge. This mechanic is exactly the same on hard mode, depending on what color he is, in this case blue. You dodge. Since he is blue, the inner and the outer circle are safe. The center area is not safe. This won't one-shot you, but does a lot of damage. This is the other variant of it. Because he is blue, the center area is not safe. You can see the Lancer got hit, and it didn't do a lot of damage. This attack is a bit harder to see, but is kind of important. I'll play it from the start. He will slam his mace down and then kick back. This leads into another attack. slam, kick. After he does this, he will do an AoE around him, with the safe zone being right on top of the boss. 1, 2. Starting at around 70-ish%, he will gain this blue aura and crouch down. You can't do anything to stop this, and it doesn't do any damage. Once he explodes his aura, all it will do is make the goblin walk much faster. Keep an eye on the goblin here, you'll see him get some speed lines on him. That's how you know he's really cruising. This next attack the boss does is something he does on normal mode, but not often, so it's very hard to cover it properly. He will begin twirling his mace either clockwise or counterclockwise. Again, depending on if you're in front or behind him. Depending which way he spins his mace, he will do an attack that hits the entire front side of the room, or an attack that hits the entire room behind him. Here he's spinning his mace clockwise. From the tank's perspective, it is clockwise. If you ever see it spinning clockwise, that means he's going to hit you. If it's going counterclockwise, your area is okay. In this case, it's going clockwise, so he's going to slam in front of him. You iframe when he begins swinging. On hard mode, there is an extra layer to this. Depending on his color, he will slam again. You can tell by the color of the AoE. After the first slam, if he is blue colored, he will do a frontal slam. If he is red colored, he will always do a back slam. He's still blue, so get out of the middle. Kick. 1, 2. Because of the nerfs, the first goblin finished his trek, and now the second one has spawned. You can see it on the left side of the screen. Now you need to look at the boss's aura and then match it up with the canister. It's blue again. Make a bridge. This priest is very confused and doesn't know what to do. Point and laugh at him. This is a problem, however, because the bridge is not long enough now. There's a gap directly behind the tank. He's still blue, so inner or far away. The middle area is not safe. Here you can see the gap. If puddle is ever orange, that means it is inert. It's not actually doing anything. If it is green, that means it's active. These are green. You can see the gap here, and the goblin probably won't make it. Starting at around 50%, the boss will crouch down and gain a red aura and a circle. And this buff on him here, this red heat looking buff. You need to stun him during this, or he'll gain a ticking AoE aura on him that you don't ever want to go off. This is the donut mechanic. Your first instinct here may be to panic and run. Don't. Simply everyone go behind the boss and you'll be perfectly fine. Dodge. Here you can see on the right he's targeting the priest and spinning his mace. The moment he starts his actual swing, dodge. This is the crouch down blue aura. There's no way to stop this, and all it does is speed up the goblin. Here he put a debuff on two players. You can see the Reaper and the Priest. They both have a red looking debuff. And it's above their head too. This mechanic is strange. I'll explain. Here he crouched down and gained a red aura circle around him, and he gained this heat looking debuff. Stun him. If you notice on the far left of the screen, the goblin reached the end of his path, and since there's no puddle here for him to walk on, he's turned purple and is now going to explode. This is a mechanic on hard mode. He will target one player, in this case the priest, and give them a red circle. This interacts with this debuff on players. Everyone needs to stack in this red circle to split the damage, despite it being red. Don't be fooled. Any player with this debuff will lose it, and it will spread to other players. This is relevant a bit later. Your goal here is that everyone stack in this red circle. They have a decision to make here. They can either stack in this circle and split the damage, but then the goblin will explode immediately after, and the combined damage will wipe them out. So the priest makes an excellent choice here and runs away. The red circle alone will kill him, but the rest of the group won't take damage, and they'll have enough HP to survive the goblin explosion. Decision making. This is the goblin exploding. Watch their health. The boss is still blue, so get out of this. This is where this red debuff comes into play. It's kind of strange. You want to get hit by the opposite color of your debuff. In this case, the red debuff, you want to stand in the blue attacks. The boss is yet again gaining a blue aura, so they want to make a bridge from the blue canister to the goblin. Here they did it correctly. The boss is still blue, so inner and far outer are safe. You can notice the group took damage. The entire reason is this debuff here. If you don't get hit by the opposite color during that mechanic, it will AoE the group, dealing damage. They survived because only one person had it, but if 3 people had it and they all didn't get hit, the entire group would get AoE'd and probably die. 1, 2. Red aura, stun him. Blue aura, can't do anything. Donuts. He didn't do it much here, only one time, but the hardest mechanic in this fight by far is the swipes. I'll just call them swipes. The attack where he spins his mace a certain direction and then slams in that direction, either in front of him or behind him. That will kill everyone if you can't recognize it, especially the double hit. Whether you're in front or behind him, the fact does not change. If his mace is spinning clockwise, he's going to hit you, so go to the other side. If it's spinning counterclockwise, you are fine. That's true for both perspectives. The second hit is purely determined by his color, blue being a front hit, red being a back hit.